All right, how's everybody doing today? This is Meek Martin. This is Born Again, Raised Again Ministries. And once again, this is the lesson, how to come out of your days when it comes to the Sabbath days. How to come out of your days when it comes to the Sabbath days. This is part 4. Okay, part 4. All right, part 1, 2, and 3. Just to break it down really quick, we learned that the Sabbath day is a day of rest. The Sabbath day is also a day of collective worship. The Sabbath day is also a sign between, God and his people, right? That you belong to him. It's also, you're in a covenant with him, a covenant relationship with him. Okay. You're in agreement with him. You're in league with him. You're in a treaty with him. Okay. So the Sabbath day, we found out, is all 4 of those things, right? So we know what the Sabbath day is, right? But when is the Sabbath day? When is the Sabbath day? How do we know? Okay, so we're going to answer the question, how we know the Sabbath day is the Sabbath day, when it is, all from this word, all right? All from this word. And once again, I'm going to be using strict verbiage as it says in here. So you know that I'm not coming from any type of different translation or anything like that. It's KJV right here, all right? So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so let's turn to the book of Exodus, chapter 16. And I taught on this morning. Okay, this morning it was a pretty lengthy lesson. So I'm going to not rush through this, but I am going to expedite it, and I'm going to shorten a lot of the scriptures, but that you still get the idea exactly when the Sabbath day is. When it begins, when it ends. All right. So Exodus chapter 16 and verse 14. And when the dew that was gone up, behold, the face of the wilderness, there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather every man according to his eating, an omer for every day, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so and gathered, some more, some less. Okay, some more, some less. Verse 18. When they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over. He that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, Let no man leave of it until the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left it until the morning, and it was bread with worms and stank. And Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Okay, so let's drop down for the sake of time to verse 25. And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. For today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass, there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. So, okay, the Sabbath day is the 7th day. 7th day is the Sabbath day. Sabbath day is the 7th day of the week. Okay, 7th day of the week is the Sabbath day. All right. Now let's go to back to the book of Leviticus. Turn forward in the word. Leviticus 23 and 9. Okay, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When you come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord, to be accepted for you on the morrow after the Sabbath. The priest shall wave it. And ye shall offer that day, when you wave the sheaf, a he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord. Okay, and the meat offering shall be 2 tenths of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord, for a sweet savior, and a drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of a hin. And ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears until the selfsame day that you brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath. From the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even until the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. So 7 days, right? Sabbath day is the 7th day of the week. So a Sabbath is reckoned from week to week, right? Okay, from week to week. So after 7 weeks, you count the day after tomorrow. After tomorrow, that's how you get 50. Okay, so the Sabbath day is the first day of the week. After the Sabbath, after the 7th day of the week, starts the first day of the week. Okay, so the Sabbath day is not evidently the first day of the week. Okay, it's the 7th day of the week. All right, everybody got that? Let's go to Matthew 28:1. Matthew 28:1. It says, in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. Okay. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week. All right. So, in the end of the Sabbath, okay, that word "in" is the Greek word coming from Strong's Hebrew and Greek Concordance. Greek 3796 is apse, which means late in the day or the close of the day. Okay. It began in the end of the Sabbath. It began to dawn toward the first day of the week. First is the Greek word miah, which means one or first. Okay. First day of the week is Sabbaton. Sabbaton is the interval between 2 Sabbaths or a week. Okay. Between 2 Sabbaths or a week. So from week to week. Sabbath day is every 7 days, right? A week is every 7 days, all right? So once again, as we see here, if the Sabbath came to an end and it was dawning toward the first day of the week, right? The Sabbath day cannot be the first day of the week. They're two totally different days of the week. Sabbath day is the 7th day, the last day of the week. First day is the first day of the week, okay? Mark chapter 16. Mark 16:1 says, and when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Salmon had brought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came into the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. Okay, and when the Sabbath was past, what came next? The first day of the week. Okay, so the Sabbath day and the first day of the week, once again, 2 separate days. All right, the Israelites observed a 7-day week, with the Sabbath day being the 7th day to complete the week. Okay, so what's the number 7 symbolic of? The number 7 is symbolic of this. Okay, perfection and completion. Okay. When he had made everything in 6 days, on the 7th day, he looked and saw that everything was good. Each day he made something, he saw everything was good. So he looked back at the other 6 days and saw that everything was good. In other words, everything was perfected. He did not go back and say, I messed up on the 5th day, so let me go back and fix something. I messed up on the 4th day, so let me go back and fix something. There's no mess up in our Creator, right? One word that never comes out of his mouth is, oops, I messed up. He's perfect in all his ways, right? The 7th day, everything had been created. By the 7th day, right? He looked and saw that 6 days, everything was created, right? So the number 7 also means completion, okay? So here in North America and other cultures, a 7-day week is also observed, okay? The days of the week are named after, pagan deities and, after the creation instead of the creator, but it's still 7 days, okay? So the Sabbath day is the 7th day of the week. However, when does the Sabbath day start and when does the Sabbath day end? We know it's the seventh day of the week, right? But when does it start? When does it end? Okay? I'm glad somebody asked. All right, go to Genesis chapter 1. Genesis 1 and 1. Okay, Genesis 1 and 1 says, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Okay? Many people out there, whether you call yourself a Bible scholar, whether you say you have a high position in a certain denomination, a certain religion, things like that, they say that the light came first. Okay? It doesn't matter if the light came first or not. I'm not even going to go there. In verse 5 it says, and the evening and the morning were the first day. The second day, I guarantee you. Verse 8, right? And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Okay? Each days of creation, all 6 days, it says in the evening and the morning were first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day. So what day was the seventh day? The evening and the morning, when he said his work was complete. Evening and the morning. So despite what anybody tries to say, the light came first or the daylight comes first or anything like that, it clearly says in the same Bible that you are reading, right, that I'm reading right here, the evening and the morning were the first day. All right, hands down. Okay, further clarity. Let's go to John chapter 11, verse 5. John 11 and 5. Okay. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, and when he heard therefore that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that saith he to his disciples, let us go into Judea again. His disciples saying to him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again? Jesus answered, are there not 12 hours in the day? Okay. If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. Okay? Now somebody could say, he's saying there's only 12-hour days, right? Because there's a big doctrine going out around it. There's only 12-hour days, right? Okay. What he's actually saying there, let's break down the word day here. The word day here, Greek, or G2550, is hemera. Hemera. Hemera is the time space between dawn and dark. So in other words, there are 12 hours of daylight. Okay, let's look at it like this. From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Jerusalem or in Israel, let's say there's 12 hours of daylight. That's not a complete day though. How do we know that? Let's go to Matthew chapter 12. Matthew chapter 12. Matthew 12 and 38. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. Verse 39. But he answered and said unto them, an evil and an adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall be no sign given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas, or Jonah. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Okay, 3 days and 3 nights. All right, so there's 12 hours in a day, right? How many hours is in a night? 12. 12 times 2. 12 plus 12 is what? 24 hours. Okay, let's look at this another way. And it's all written just from what we read. Okay, so 3 days and 3 nights. So let's just say 3 days. There's 12 hours in a day, right? So that's 36 hours. There's 12 hours in a night, so that's 36 hours. So 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night equals 24 hours, right? So 36 times 2 is 72 hours. 24 hours times 3 is 72 hours also, okay? So he let them know that he would be in the tomb in the heart of the earth for 72 hours. because that's how many hours is in a day. 24. 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. Okay? A day is not reckoned like how we see here in North America. And we're about to see, let's get some further clarity on that. When a day is reckoned, when the day begins. So we saw that from Genesis chapter 1, right? Let's go to Exodus chapter 12. Exodus 12 and 3. I know I might be speaking a little, a little fast, but if you need to go back, just watch this video, put it on pause, look up the scripture, then hit play again. You'll be fine. Okay, Exodus 12 and 3. Speak ye unto the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of Israel shall kill it in the evening. Okay, he's talking about, if you haven't guessed already, Passover. Passover is the first month, 14th day of the month. Okay, next day on the 15th starts the first day of unleavened bread. All right, verse 7, moving on. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden it all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. Didn't say the next day, just said until morning, right? Okay, verse 11. And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. Okay, so Passover always started in the evening. Why? Because it was always the next day. Okay, always the next day, because simply why? A day starts in evening. Okay, according to this Bible, Torah, the law, the word, a day starts in the evening time, not in the morning time. Okay, like what we're used to. All right, let's go to Mark chapter 14. We're gonna look at something very interesting. Hopefully I don't have to make two recordings of this to break it down. So I'm gonna break this down as much as I can, skipping some scriptures. Mark 14 and 12. And the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover. Okay, when they killed the Passover, right? So they killed the Passover in the evening time, right? So it wasn't quite Passover yet, right? They were getting prepared for Passover. Okay. Verse 12 again. And the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover, his disciples said unto him, wherewith that we go and prepare that thou mayest eat the Passover. See, they were preparing for it. It wasn't quite the Passover yet. It was preparation for the Passover. How do we know it wasn't Passover yet? Because they said they were preparing. It was not dark yet. Passover was done in the evening time. Okay? Verse 13. And he sent forth two of his disciples and said unto them, go ye into the city, and there ye shall meet a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him. And wheresoever he shall go, say ye to the goodman of the house, the master saith, where's the guest chamber, and where shall I eat the Passover with my disciples? And he shall show you a large upper room, furnished and prepared, there make ready for us. And his disciples went forth and came into the city, and found as he said unto them, and they made ready the Passover. They were getting ready for Passover, right? Now, this is key, verse 17. And in the evening he cometh with the 12. And as they sat and did eat, Jesus said, verily, verily, I say unto you, one of you which eateth with me shall betray me. Okay? Because it was evening time now. Now was Passover. And this is what man calls or certain churches call in error, true enough, it was the Lord's Last Supper, but this was actually Passover. They miss out on that, right? But it was nighttime. It was in the evening time. And the evening time on that same day, it led into his betrayal. Because as we're going to see, we can't read it all here, but I'm going to skip around. Verse 20. Let's go to verse 26. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. And Jesus said unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. But after that I am risen, I will go before you into Galilee. Okay, so let's skip down to 32. And they came to a place, same night, right? Same night, same day. Day starts in evening time. Okay, verse 32. And they came into a place which is named Gethsemane. And he saith to his disciples, sit ye here while I shall pray. In the Garden of Gethsemane is where he prayed, right? Sweat came down as drops of blood, right? Everybody knows that, right? Okay, let's drop down to verse 46. And they laid their hands on him and took him. So he was arrested that same night. Passover, right? Okay, let's drop down to... Okay, let's stop right there. So it's Passover, right? Let's go to verse 15. Let's start, chapter 15. Chapter 15, the next chapter. And straightway in the morning. It's the morning time now, but it's not a new day. It's the same day. The chief priests held a consultation with the elders and scribes and the whole council and bound Jesus and carried him away and delivered him to Pilate. They had just arrested him the night before. Now it's morning time, right? And they're leading him into Pilate. Okay, same day, started evening, but it's morning time, right? Okay, let's drop down to verse 6. Now at the in verse chapter 15. Now at the feast he released unto them one prisoner, whomsoever they desired. At the feast, what feast? Passover. Okay, he was crucified on Passover. The next day was the first day of unleavened bread. This is still Passover. Okay, so it was customary at the feast that one criminal, and we know the Messiah, the master, was not no criminal, but they saw him as one, right? One criminal was released during Passover. It was a custom, right? So verse 10. Verse 9. But Pilate answered him, saying, will ye that I release unto you the king of the Jews? Verse 10. For he knew that the chief priests had delivered him for envy. But the chief priests moved the people that he should rather release Barabbas unto them. And Pilate answered and said unto them, What will ye then that I shall do unto him whom ye call the king of the Jews? And they cried out again, Crucify him. Then Pilate said unto them, Why, what evil have he done? And they cried out the more exceedingly, Crucify him. And so Pilate, willing to content the people, released Barabbas unto them and delivered Jesus, whom he had scourged, to be crucified. The same day, Passover, okay? The next day was the Feast of Unleavened Bread, where they were not to do any work, including leaving a body hanging on a tree. Passover. And I know somebody say something against that. We don't have time for me to show you otherwise. But we do have time to see how a day is reckoned. Okay, so in conclusion, regarding the Sabbath day, according to God, and therefore according to the Bible, what's written, and not man, right? A day is reckoned from evening to evening, sundown to sundown. So the seventh day Sabbath is what we call Friday sundown to what we call Saturday sundown. Okay? It's not 12 hours. It's 24 hours. It's not in the morning to the evening. It's from evening to evening. Okay? When the sun goes down Friday, which is the sixth day, it is the seventh day, right? When the sun went down today, I'm here in Kansas City, Missouri, went down about maybe 7:02, 7:03. It's now actually the first day of the week. Okay? Man's time, 12 o'clock, 12:01 a.m. to 12:01 a.m. is how we reckon days. But that's not according to the Bible. Okay? So whose report are we going to believe? Whose law are we going to go by? Okay? I'm going to go by what is written. Okay? So the Sabbath day is recognized by myself, my family, and those who are under this teaching, right? From this word is from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Okay? So is the Sabbath day reckoned by the phases of the new moon? Right? Is there such thing as what's called a lunar Sabbath? You know, some people are following what's called lunar Sabbath, right? Where the Sabbath day is not every 7 days. It's not Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. One day it could be Sunday sundown to Monday sundown. Then it could be another time Wednesday sundown to Thursday sundown. So let's see, is that truly biblical, right? There are those who say that recognizing a Sabbath day at sundown is actually pagan. But what did we just read from these scriptures? Passover started at sundown. The Sabbath day started at sundown. The first day and so on, it was from evening. The evening and the morning were the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day. So also the seventh day. So how is that pagan and is written? Okay, how could this be something that they adopted from the Babylonian Empire or the Persians, you know, or the Egyptians when it was written that way? Okay, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 20. I know people laugh at me sometimes, like, you know, that bald-headed preacher be getting excited, you know, when he talks about stuff like this. Okay, well, call it what you will. Maybe I do. But, you know, I'm going to stand and fight for the truth. I'm going to stand and fight for what I believe in. You know, I'm tired of being lied to. I don't know about y'all, but I've been lied to for a long time. I've been deceived for a long time. You know, now that I'm woke, now that my eyes is open, I'm not going to be deceived no more. I'm going to stand for exactly what's right. And that's this written truth here. So 1 Samuel 20, and let's start at 18. Prayerfully, I have enough time. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon, and thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty. And when thou hast stayed 3 days, and thou shalt go down quickly, and come to the place where thou didst hide thyself, when the business was in hand, thou shalt remain by the stone Ezel. And I will shoot 3 arrows on the side thereof, as though I shot at a mark. And behold, I will send a lad, saying, go find out the arrows. If I expressly say unto the lad, behold, the arrows are on this side of thee, take them, then comest thou, for there is peace to thee, and no hurt, as the Lord liveth. But if I say thus unto the young man, behold, the arrows are beyond thee, go thy way, for the Lord hath sent thee away. And as the touch in the matter which thou hast and I have spoken of, behold, the Lord be between thee and me forever. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat down to eat meat. Okay, every new moon we celebrate it, right? Okay, and the king sat down upon his seat as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day, for he thought something hath befallen him, for he is not clean. Surely he is not clean. Saul talking about David, because he kept on wanting to trap David, right? And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month. The second day of the month, because what? The new moon. So in other words, that was the first day of the month. Not of the week, but of the month. So the second day after the new moon was the second day of the month. Everybody see that? David's place was empty, and Saul sent unto Jonathan his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? And Jonathan answered Saul, David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem. Okay, so once again, the new moon determines what? The months. The months. Okay, further proof. This is the last scripture. Isaiah 60, chapter 66. Now, while we turn there, I know it's written there would be no need of the sun, no need of the moon on the new earth, right? But let me read this to y'all. We're still going to be keeping feast days, and we're still going to be keeping the Sabbath day. Okay, it's determined to us by the sun and the moon. Days are determined by the sun, right? Evening to evening, right? The new phases of the moon determine the months. Okay, so real quickly, Isaiah 66:22. For as the new heavens and the new earth which I will make shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. All flesh, right? So what's that saying? On the new earth, and I can show other scriptures, we're going to be observing feast days, right? On the new earth, we're going to be observing a Sabbath day. So on the new earth, there will be Sabbath days, and there will be the Sabbath day. How do I know this? Because it's written. With no sun and no moon in the sky, hey, the Messiah will let us know it's a feast day. You know what I mean? He'll let us know it's the Sabbath day. So all flesh will come to worship before him on the Sabbath days and on the Sabbath day, because it's written. Okay, so these Sabbath days are determined by phases of the new moon, right? The Sabbath day is always and shall always be the seventh day of the week, because it says from Sabbath to Sabbath, meaning from week to week. So there will still be what is considered a 7-day week on the new earth, just like there will also be Sabbath days, also known as feast days. Okay, so it's right there, cut and dry. It's written. Y'all do y'all study. Same Bible I'm reading from. Same Bible we all reading from. It's written. All right. Do your studying. You'll see it. It's right there. I don't want you to see it just because I said it. I want you to see it because that's how it's written. Okay. The same spirit that showed me will show you. Okay. I didn't get this from another YouTuber. I didn't get this from any books. I have several books here in this library. Books are for not for revelation. Books are for confirmation. Okay. This word right here, this is the revelation, right? This is what's revealed to us. We just get it from other people, whether they write books or whether they do videos for confirmation. Okay. This should be confirmed with what somebody else has already, the spirit has already dealt with somebody with. So my question is, are you going to receive it or are you going to stay with the lie? All right. Your choice. Your choice. Okay. So with that being said, this is Born Again, Raised Again Ministries. This is Meek Martin. Please continue to pray for me. Please continue to subscribe to this channel. I need all the prayer that I could possibly get. I need all the support that I could possibly get, because, you know, the devil does not want this information out there. He has worked hard to keep this information written. All right. So with that being said, I love you. I want you to be blessed. I want you to be woke. Shalom.